Hey everyone, it is Dr. Dylan Peckus here, and today is a great day because, literally earlier today there was a tornado warning, so that was fun. Glad to be in all one location and with the roof still in the house. But today I want to talk about this concept known as progressive optimization. The reason why is because a lot of times when we're addressing our health, we have our plan that we start out with, but a lot of times we hit a wall, right? Whether it's like weight loss is a perfect example that a lot of people can relate to. For instance, you're going along, you're doing great, and then, you lose 10 pounds and then things stall, right? Or maybe you stall and then like you start to gain weight again. And that happens because your body is always responding to what you're doing to it, okay? So it just has like a little diagram here. Like, just imagine you have your plan here, and then here you are, right? Your plan changes you, okay? Not groundbreaking here, but what is groundbreaking is that then your body should dictate what your plan should be, okay? And a lot of people only ever do this. They said it once, and then their body improves in some way, like weight loss, or some of the other components we'll talk about, say with nutrition or breath work, and then you hit this point where you stall. Okay, so being able to know about this concept of progressive optimization is really super duper important because when we're working with our clients, this is like the primary thing that actually gets people success and results. Because, for instance, one of the big things we talk about is this concept of a relaxed pause. Okay, if you don't know what this is, don't worry, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to leave you in the absolute dust. So, what this is when you measure how long you can pause your breathing after a normal inhale and exhale, and then you're able to have a normal inhale again. So, just quite simply, you inhale, you exhale, you pause your breathing, and then you don't try to hold your breath, you don't white knuckle it, then you inhale again, and you can pretty much just enter this cycle continuously. A lot of times, people, when they're just starting out, this can be anywhere from 5 to 15 seconds. When I first did this, I was measuring around 7 to 9 seconds. It was not good. Now, this is a marker of your body's respiratory fitness, okay? Specifically, because there's a lot of different markers, right? Like total capacity, and all these different things. But what this measures is how much can your body tolerate a buildup of CO2, okay? This is very different than oxygen deprivation, which would be a long total breath hold. This is tolerating CO2 and responding to it correctly. This is important because when we're breathing at night, right? Well, I guess when you're not breathing, when you have sleep apnea, this will then cause or give you a protective advantage because this is how our breathing pattern is at night with sleep apnea. Okay. Inhale, exhale, pause, big inhale, exhale, and then pause again. All right. So if we're able to train your body to safely handle this pause, then the apnea episodes are not as damaging. All right, that's a cool part. The other thing is that you'll have less episodes because the higher your relaxed pause is, then this indicates that you're breathing at a slower, gentler pace, and this will prevent the collapse of your airways. Okay, so in case you have forgotten, everything that we do is to get your breathing into a good place. Okay, and specifically a slow, gentle breath. Okay, slow and gentle. Because when you have a very fast and forceful breath, essentially what happens is it's wet paper straw milkshake syndrome. Now, you won't find that in any textbook, nor should you ever find that. But the point being is that our airways at night, when you're breathing too fast and too forcefully, they will collapse just like a wet paper straw would if you're trying to drink a milkshake. You will have this force, okay, of where you're trying to, inhale through the straw effectively, and this will create a force on these walls bring them together, and you have an obstruction. This is the exact same thing that happens when you stop breathing at night. So circle this back. This is why relax pause. The higher we get that, the less this happens. Okay? Now, that's like the big thing. And this is why when uh, doing these sorts of videos or in a book or in a Facebook group, I'm talking about some basic exercises like box breathing, right? Or rectangle breathing. Okay. And what this is, box breathing is a 5 inhale, 5 pause, 5 exhale, 5 here. Rectangle is just extending the pause time to 10. Okay, that's all it is. But basically, that is something that will take your relaxed pause from, say, like 5. Oh, let's not make it that bad. From 8 over here. And over time, it'll get it higher and higher. Okay? But as time goes on, you just zoom in on this, you will hit a wall here. You just will. Just like if you're dieting and you have a 500 calorie deficit or you cut out a certain amount of food every single day, it will get your body to a certain point, but then eventually, like I said super early on, this changes your body, and then your body needs to dictate what your plan is. Okay, that's where progressive optimization comes in. So what does that look like? Just say for breathing, okay, or the relaxed pause or training specifically. So for instance, basically the name of the game here is to find ways to get your relaxed pause further and further, depending on how you're responding to this initial set of exercises. Okay, so let's just run through a few so you're able to understand what this looks like if we're working together in the future. So, for instance, let's do the easiest one. This is too hard. That is too hard for you. It may be that the inhale is too hard for you. Maybe you can't sustain the exhale or the pause. Then we have to find ways, whether it's shortening the time span, maybe make it, like a 5-3, 5-3 box breathing, or even just skipping the pause altogether and focusing in on slower inhales and exhales. So it could just be 5-5-5, could be 7-7-7, so on and so forth. You want to find something that allows you to progress with your relaxed pause. That's a lot of times when it's too hard, what you want to do. And then the progression is you get better with this, you hit a plateau over here, then you graduate to the next exercise. Okay, let's say you're doing box and rectangle, and you want to progress to the next thing. So from here, there is a pretty big branching point. Okay, we could get into exercises where we knock out one of these pauses. Okay, and it's going to depend on you what we're doing in terms of knocking out a pause. So it could just be inhale, exhale, pause for say like 10 seconds here, or 12 or 15 at that point. Okay, then inhale, exhale again. Or it could be inhale, pause, exhale. All right. And, there's other things we can add into this, like nasal pinching or even walking, things of that nature. But that's going to really be dictated, again, by how you're responding. Okay. Because, again, every single time your body is improving or reacting to what you're doing to it, you need to update what you're doing here. So that's just one of the principles I'm going to run you through as many as I can in a reasonable amount of time of the sleep model here, okay, for sleep apnea. So we just covered the first one, that is soften breathing, okay. Soften breathing. L is lower stress. E is establish. Let me just write this in. Establish rhythm. And if you hear dogs in the background, those are my dogs. And if you've never heard a dog bark before, you got a lot left to live here. The other E is for enhanced environment. Okay. And then the last one is prioritize nutrition. Okay. So in the sake of time, because I'm just trying to, not overload you is one thing. Like, let me tell you everything we do with people over the course of 3 months, in every possible scenario and playbook. Um, let's go with nutrition. Okay, so with nutrition, one of the things that we first like to look at is how is someone responding to different carbs, protein and fat macronutrients. Okay, um, because typically when someone's in a bad state, their body it can't burn fat very well. Okay, but at the same time, being a sugar burner is not a good long-term strategy. So we do want to find a way to strike a balance in here. Okay, and that's a lot what we're doing when we're doing an initial assessment with people, like, okay, where are you at? What's going to be appropriate for like your carbohydrate load or like your fat load here? Because ideally over time we're able to get you to a place where you're metabolically flexible. That means you can go high carb if you want, there won't be much repercussion to that, or you can go high fat if you want. Now obviously different macronutrient ratios will have different outcomes on your body depending on your goal. But this is one thing that we're looking to constantly adjust and optimize for people. Like, what's the right ratio of these three? Okay. Or, like, let's say we increase protein, which is a pretty common thing that we do. And then someone actually feels sluggish as a result. Okay. They're feeling um, like this now. Okay. Well, that now tells us, okay, again, because this comes back to you have your plan, your body reacts, you need to have your plan react. This may indicate different vitamins, okay, or different amino acids are deficient. Okay. And then it's just an ongoing process of that because that's really one of the big parts of progressive optimization. Like we start out with a plan and then we adjust it as time goes on with like pretty much each of these categories. And then, when we're working with our clients specifically, there's a second P to this, okay? And that's just for problems. Other problems that come up, right? Because then, if someone has say tinnitus alongside with their sleep apnea. Okay, let's help out with that. Or maybe brain fog is really bad, related to sleep apnea, obviously, but we want to do more specific things for that. Or maybe you have low T. Okay, yeah, we want to do specific things for that as well. And that's really the main concept. Because if you're like choosing to do things by yourself, which is absolutely fine, you want to be aware that like having a constant plan is good in terms of consistency. Don't get me wrong, like you shouldn't be changing like every week unless you have the proper guidance, because otherwise, you may not know what to look for and what is a good sign that you need to progress or change or add something else in, right? But with our clients, we're able to provide that accelerated pace because whether it's we've seen different things play out time and time again, not only with like nutrition, but also like someone's stress response or someone's circadian rhythm and how their sleep wake cycles are going, or like the quality of their sleep or different factors in their environment. Like we've really seen there are new things we see all the time because everyone is indeed unique, but we know what a lot of these patterns are and how they interrelate. And only once you're able to have that gives you an accelerated path. But again, just doing it by yourself, like having the awareness that like, oh, okay, I need to change up my breathing exercises. I need to update my diet and see how I respond and be able to know like, okay, this is what it means for whether it's these macronutrients or like micronutrients. You need to be able to update your plan over time. Okay. Um, that's really as simple as it is. Um, that's an overstatement. Super simple. Just monitor your melatonin and you'll know exactly what to do from there. But it is something that, like, as you list out your health plan, I think this is a pretty good way to do it. That's a really biased opinion because obviously, um, I made this acronym. It was a great moment in my life. Um, but it's good to break it down and be able to decide, okay, how am I doing with all these categories, right? because when you're doing it by yourself, like you may just want to hone in on one of these, okay? Because you may have a really bad rhythm, and that would be like you're waking up multiple times in the night, not only because of sleep apnea, but just like for no reason, or you have a very irregular sleep cycle, right? Because your sleep is bad. That what that looks like is Tuesday night you sleep really poorly, so Tuesday you're going to take a nap. It's going to throw off your sleep for Tuesday night, and it's just going to be this cycle that just makes sleep worse and worse. Okay. Uh, so that's the big principle for you to start to wrap your head around, because this is what we're constantly doing with our clients, where we have our initial assessment that we do, where we're looking at, because if we break this down, um, this is breathing directly, and everything else over here is metabolic. Really, at the end of the day, even environment, because how your environment is reacting with you will cause a metabolic reaction, right? That's what we're looking at, building that initial plan and then being able to update that with time, and then also all the different touch points we have, email, all the different sessions, one-on-ones, group Q&A calls that we have. Uh, that's where we're getting, really direct response, but also like every single week, me and the team, we're looking over everyone's protocol and seeing, okay, how are they doing, right? And it just comes back to this, what I said earlier, right? We're looking at your plan. How are you doing? You're filling in your information. Then we're deciding, okay, what's going to be the most important things for us to optimize, add in, subtract, etc. And that's what really allows people to be, if I find the graph here, where's my graph? Really just be on this very accelerated trajectory. Okay. So there you go. That's something you can begin to play with in your mind, in your health journey. And of course, if you would like our help in executing this, um, I'm sure you've never seen this link before, but if you want our help in making this happen so that you can be, I mean, just like sleeping and waking up and feeling like a new person, right? Like actually feeling like you're having momentum and getting out of the hole that you're in. If that is you, then go to ochnow.com/talk. That's where you can find our application for our 45-minute free evaluation call, where we're diving in deep, making sure, hey, what's going on here? Is this something that we can help you with? And if not, I'll steer you to someone or something else. Make sure that you're taken care of either way. So go to that link, ochnow.com/talk, fill out the form, pick a time, and I guess you pick the day first, then you pick the time. Either way, that's available for you if you want us to really help you out with this process and just be done with your sleep apnea once and for all. So that is it for me. I don't apologize for the low lighting. It's been stormy days out here. But either way, hope you benefit from this video and hope to talk to you soon.